the goal for me is I want to give the tools and my experiences and the support systems, have that in place so that you can actually have a fighting chance
Yeah.
and an easier shortcut to get to where you're in a position where you're making good money and you're establishing a career for yourself. So I think that's
Well, hey, gang, it's Ryan Surratt, your host of Agent X Factor podcast. And I am super pumped up today because we have the infamous and informative David Kurtz. David, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. And
Infamous, man. That's cool. I've never
yeah,
been called
yeah,
that before.
that's, you're the first guest that I've had on that owns their own real estate company, that's a broker and owner of a company, and so that's kind of exciting. So
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit about that.
for
But
sure.
let me ask this first: what got you into doing real estate?
It was by necessity because I was unemployed, and so like
Yeah,
I was working in a corporate job in Dallas for about 3.5 years. I was absolutely miserable, and just a little cubicle. I
sure.
mean, it just wasn't the right fit for me. I quit my job and I traveled. I went solo backpacking through Central and South America
Wow.
until I ran out of money. And then I moved in, I came back and moved in with my parents and a little discouraged because I was having a hard time finding a job. But I had gotten my real estate license maybe a year prior and I just hadn't used it. So I was like, well, I'll see if I like doing real estate. My dad is a custom home builder, has been here for about 30 years now. And so just kind of dipped my toe into it. And it's slow starting at first. It wasn't like I went out there and just sold a ton of houses, but, the more I got comfortable in my role and it started panning out really good. And I really found that I enjoyed it. So,
That's awesome. And now you own Dwell Real Estate,
yeah.
and that's now. How long has Dwell been active or been in business?
We opened in January 2020, and so that was like just a month or two before COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember I built our office and got all the supplies and everything ready to go. I was, really excited to get it going. And then COVID hit, and I thought I just made the absolute biggest mistake of my life. And because nobody was buying, and it was really hard to even recruit agents when you can't go anywhere.
Sure.
So yeah, we were just kind of a little bit out the gate, a little bit. It was a little concerning, but then the momentum kind of started picking up, and so we've been in business now for about 3.5 years, and in that time, we've increased exponentially number of agents and sales volume, and got a really great culture and company feel here. So it's been an exciting journey just in the short amount of time that we've been open. So
Yeah, I mean, you went from like being the new kid on the block to like the most popular real estate group in town. I mean, you were voted that, and
yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I gotta ask, so how that you do have? I mean, Dwell has this neat kind of, well, like there's that cool kid, in
The
high
cool kid
school that everybody
vibe.
wants to be like and be friends with, and you guys are like that. You're like the cool kid, and so how did you create a culture that's because it is unique. You got
Yeah.
some great marketing, but it's a really just high end culture, though. Not just working with high end clients, but it's a high end culture, I would say.
Well, and I mean, I think that just speaks to who you're hiring on
Sure.
as a broker. This isn't an office where everybody that just walks in off the streets going to work here. We do have a pretty intensive interview process and selection process. It's nothing to be intimidated by. It's
Sure.
just we want to make sure that if you come and work here, this is going to be your first and foremost priority to sell real estate. You get a lot of people that are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, maybe have a part-time job, maybe. But the goal for me is I want to give the tools and my experiences and the support systems, have that in place so that you can actually have a fighting chance and an easier shortcut to get to where you're in a position where you're making good money and you're establishing a career for yourself. So I think that's the end result of what you see, but then there's also the attraction piece of it. And I think that's entirely rooted in brand. And I mean, I think that there was just a need for something that felt a little bit more updated, a little bit more modern, and noticeable too. I mean, everything was kind of thought out, from our color scheme to the logo to the website, the business. I mean, every little detail was meant to be noticeable, so that if you're in a neighborhood and you see one of our signs from the other side of the block, that's Dwell Realty. And so I think that if I was to tell you the top three things that kind of separate us, it'd be brand, culture, and communication with management. And I think that those are, when people are making moves from other offices or they're just starting in their career, those are pretty much the top three things that I hear all the time. You want to be recognizable. You want to be aligned with really good agents. You also want to have a culture of people that are genuinely friends, and it's organic growth. It's not, we're just sticking a bunch of people just for the sake of plugging them in, and we're active in the community and our sponsorships and our group events. And then it's communication with management. I mean, that's your broker, that's your team lead, that's your mentor. So we do a lot of mentor roles. So it's all designed to where you come in and what you're doing from the first day. There's not like, okay, congratulations, real estate license, see you later. And we've built out an onboarding process to where you come in and every day there is something that we're working towards, and trying to sharpen some skills early on out the gate. So that's a long-winded answer. So
no, that's good though. No, that's so I love that you talk about those three things, though, that your brand, because that really does separate you from a lot of other, locally owned real estate companies, I would say. And then the culture is definitely different when you walk in the front door. You just feel it. And then that communication, that is interesting. So, and I don't know this coming from the lending side. So is that something that a lot of agents don't have, I guess, open communication or with management? Is that, so that's kind of a stumbling block for many?
Well, absolutely. It's the, I mean, it can go either way. I mean, it can go, you're with I'm not going to name names, but you a really, really big office, and you're going to get lost in the sauce. Your broker may not even live here. They might live in Dallas, and I think that people, when they're getting licensed, they're not taking the time to investigate, like, is the broker available to help me if I have an issue? Are they local? And then also segmenting that to where you have that immediate point of contact, right? So that's your mentor, and then you have your team leads, and then you have your broker that's available. So, I just want to make sure that people feel like they're being communicated with and helped along, because a lot of people this year especially are it's a tough year, when sales have compressed, the market's compressed 20 to 30% compared to the last 2 years. What's that?
It's a work year. We're calling it a work year. So it's
exactly.
It's hard.
But it's important to establish everybody's goals early on out the gate, so that you can communicate to that, and just really be there for assistance, because I'm shocked by the amount of people that don't feel like they really have anybody they can reach out to if they have a question or an issue that comes up.
Wow. Well, that is great, and that you have that. What I was really impressed with what you just said is that communication with management, but then you also said that, like, day one, there is an onboarding process. There's a plan of action. There's what you're going to do. You're just not thrown out. Get your license, great. You're now with a broker, wonderful. Now just go find a deal. And so,
Yeah, and it's not even just getting thrown out. I think what happens is there's all this, oh, come join us, we're great, this is an awesome company, and it's all rah rah rah, fun, and then it's like the radio goes click, and then it's radio silence the second you hang your license. In a lot of cases, I feel that happens to folks. But what we want to establish is, people want to feel like they're going to work, like, and it's like, okay, 9 a.m. here you go. This is what we're doing right at the beginning of the day through the end. And really we use that time to establish, like, their technical skills of how they're going to approach offers and listing presentations, as well as their systems and their technologies and everything that they're going to have to use to be an effective agent. Like, let's get that taken care of right out the gate. There's no need to wait for that. So
that's really that's incredible, actually. So let me ask this question, kind of shifting, because that's really helpful and actually kind of tees us up. So what do you see? What are some of the characteristics, traits? I mean, you're a very successful agent. You're a top agent, and you're also a broker owner. And so what do you see with yourself, agents in your office, agents in other companies, that make them successful, that make them effective, that makes them grow their business?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's, there's a lot of ways that you can be successful.
Sure.
I mean, there's people that are really great relationship-based clients and sphere of influence. And I think for myself, and then there's people that are good at converting leads. There's people that are good at, getting people from open houses or for sale by owners or whatever. I think what makes a successful agent in this market is being able to track and measure what you're doing, because you need to know, like, okay, I'm not good at making cold calls. I'm just not good at it. But I had 4 open houses this month and I brought in a buyer. So, okay, so now we can start doing some math, okay, so the average price point is 325,000 in our market, and you do 4 open houses a month. That's going to be, 1 new buyer opportunity a month. So that's 12 closings. So what I want to do, instead of just kind of throwing it all out there in different directions, I want to identify in my agents, what are the top 4 lead pillars or ways that you're getting business that are working for you? Because we don't want to run the plays that don't work. We want to find, okay, so-and-so is an expert at calling expireds. Well, you're not going to know that unless you're tracking and measuring it. And you can come back to that and you can work on refining those skills. So, I mean, that's sort of the cerebral way to look at it. But I also think success in real estate is a numbers game. And the amount of conversations that you're having and the quality of conversations that you're having is absolutely crucial. And most agents quit after the first time they pick up the phone. So the secret's in the follow-up. The more you can continue to reach out. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're selling anything really. I mean, you can't, nothing's going to happen on the first or second try. All the statistics point to 6, 7, tries to get that initial conversation, and then knowing what to say when you do have a conversation. I mean, I train the new agents a lot that it's like, real estate is so cool because nobody's going up to a life insurance guy and saying, how's the life insurance market this month? But sure. I will get asked 10 times this week, how's the real estate market? Without even ever having to say a single thing.
Yeah.
And, so I tell the new agents, I'm saying, well, respond to them by saying, well, that depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest? Let's like open that conversation up more than just, the real estate market's good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people miss, a lot of opportunities to actually connect with a client. Well, my mom was thinking about maybe selling, but I don't know. So I was just kind of curious, or, you know, or I don't know. I mean, I've thought about it, but interest rates are so bad right now. Well, what are you waiting for interest rates to come down to? Like, what's that number?
Right.
But
Good
it
line.
like literally every day there is an opportunity to work with somebody in real estate, and so yeah, am I getting like way off track? I
No, no, this is
don't
good.
know.
This is good. You made a comment that the someone says, how's the real estate market doing? So interesting because they do say that they don't do that with life insurance or
They
other.
don't even do that with the
Yeah,
mortgage guys. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. It's like, well, yeah, yeah,
You don't
that's
get
true. That's
that.
true. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever listened to or listened to any of these trainings from Jim Rohn, who kind of an older success guru in yesteryear. But one thing that he always said to respond when people say like, "How's business?" He always said, whether it's a good or bad, the answer was unbelievable. I mean, whether good or bad,
That's
it's
good.
unbelievable.
It's
And
unbelievable.
yeah, yeah, and that's true. Right now, the market is unbelievable. But I think you make a great point, and really, you have to kind of a good aha for me for an agent would be to track and measure what you're doing, so that knowing your numbers and knowing what works.
Yeah.
Kind of that 20-80-20 rule. Focus on the whatever is giving you 80% of your business, probably 20% of your activity, and know the numbers, have good quality conversations, continue to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are veteran agents that have made a career off of just on their business cards. It's like the best thing you can do is give me a referral, and they just operate off referral business, and that's all they have to do. That's all
sure.
they need to do because that's what they're good at.
Huh.
But I mean, it's just it's just identifying what you're good at. I think is a really big component of how I see some agents don't get the lift off that
Yeah,
maybe some other agents do, and then they get frustrated, but it's because you're not going back to the drawing board and looking at what's working and what's not.
sure.
So
No, I like that. That's good. And that kind of helps again segue into another question I was going to ask you is, talking about your personal production as an agent and serving clients on the buy side and the sell side, what really separates you from
mhm.
other agents? What would you say?
I mean, I think for me it's just it's in the way that I market.
Yeah.
It's in the way that our team operates. And I just I'm just great communicator. I'm great at keeping a lot of irons in the
Yeah,
fire, and
I agree.
so I mean, for me, personal production wise, it's about loving on the people that have helped me out in the past and kind of helped giving me that start. So I'm real big on I want to keep in touch with the people that I've worked with, and just and be an educator as well of
Sure.
what the market's doing. Other
Yeah.
than I'm not always out there. I'm not just looking for a sale. I'm trying to tell people what I think the interest rates are going to potentially be doing
Yeah.
at the end of this year and into next year. And
Right.
oh, your appraisal district bill came in high. Well, what do you think about that? Should I run some numbers so you can go contest your appraisal?
Mm.
So just I always think service call, not sales call. If I'm reaching out to somebody, like how can I help you? And then and I think that agents kind of get into that because it's a commission based industry. You're always worried about the next thing that's going to happen. So sometimes agents can come across as pushy, but you know what I want to do is I want to organically have that conversation come up. So,
Yeah.
hey, how's that appraisal bill? What do you think about that this year? Oh my gosh, it's so high. And you know what? I'm actually, and then we'll go through the whole thing, and then maybe they just decide, well, I'm glad you called because I might just relocate, and it actually just happens. So
Really? Wow. Wow.
yeah,
That's
I mean, they're gonna move for another job,
yeah.
but if I hadn't have called them, who knows?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if I'm not talking with my past clients, then another agent is. Because one thing about this industry is everybody knows three or four people that are in real estate. You
That's
know,
true.
there's a million of them, so somebody's talking to your people.
That's a good point that you said, and I think that's an aha as well for an agent to take note of would be not make it a service call, not a sales call. How you can
Yeah,
serve. how you can serve. I like that. That's good. So let me ask this as we're getting close to kind of our time. What, as a leader of your organization, kind of go back to that, what are you known for with your agents? Kind of what do they say as they're talking to other agents, maybe to promote Dwell and you? What are you known for there?
I don't know. I mean, because they don't tell me, so I
Sure.
don't know. But, maybe that I'm just. I think that I take a genuine interest in
Yeah,
their career trajectory, and that's when I'm interviewing, when I'm talking to people, they're thinking about coming on here. I'm like, you know, I'm going to take an active interest in your development and your career. So, if other brokers aren't actually talking with you about how we're going to get you there,
sure.
then I think there's a problem there. So I it I don't know what to liken it to, but I mean, you know, I hate it whenever they're not having a successful year, but I celebrate in their wins, and I'm truly behind everybody that's in this office. Like I'm truly thinking of ways that I can, provide tools, or like, I get drawn to flashy new things all the time. Like, oh, we
Yeah,
could get this and it'd really help out the agents. Oh, I could get, but I think that it's just it comes from a good place where
sure.
I really want to be able to put the agents here in a position where they can succeed, and they know that I'm somebody that they can talk to, and I'm open minded to pretty much anything they want to talk about. So I'm not gonna I've been around the block, so.
One thing that I've noticed, maybe that you're known for, is having a heart for your agent's success. I mean, that's really that's what
Yeah,
I've seen, and
that's
wanting their success, maybe even more so than your personal success.
I
So,
love it. I
yeah,
love I love seeing people do well. And yeah, I mean, there are times where I am definitely not the top producer in this office. And that's a good thing, because I think a
sure,
lot of team leaders want to suppress, the
yeah,
agents to elevate their and you see that sometimes
sure,
in just the broader market,
yeah,
But for me personally, man, I'm only competing with myself in terms of production. I set my goals. I know where I want to be at the end of the year. And if somebody is really doing well and just kicking butt, I'm like, how are you doing? What are you doing? And I
yeah,
think that because I'm like that, maybe that kind of bleeds into the culture, because, I think collaboratively, we're all giving each other ideas of like, hey, what was that mailing campaign that you just did that worked? I want to do that. Or I want to copy what you did on your intro for your sales call. Or I want to, like,
sure.
what's working for you? Why are you having all that? Like, what's going on? And I think that like active communications kind of helps build everybody up,
That's
So.
phenomenal. Well, let me. I got two more questions I wanted to ask. So, for the first one, any favorite transactions or memorable transactions that you've had that really just stand out?
I would say, like, if I had my top five, they have nothing to do with the dollar amount.
Yeah,
It's always for me, it's like that guy I got a call from, and they were kind of a low chance of even getting qualified for a loan, and they want to look on a Saturday, and I was kind of like begrudgingly like, okay, I gotta show this,
sure.
whatever. But never bought, those people that just never bought a house before, maybe
Yeah,
other agents have written them off. And then there's one particular instance where we lost out because they were FHA, and it was in that super high fast-paced market, so we
yeah.
just weren't winning anything. And I just so happened to see this sign go out, and it wasn't on the market yet, and I had a relationship with that agent, so I called and I worked it out before it went on the market.
Ah,
And just the sweetest family, and they got a house, and I know that they're raising their family there, and that's cool, because I think a scenario like that where you know, um, they probably thought it was out of reach, and now they're
mm,
there. And that's like the tagline in our marketing and our kind of our letterhead is "You've arrived."
mm,
With it's also tying into the location
yeah,
marker with the branding, but it's like you've arrived. You're a homeowner. We've helped you get there. And for people that have never even dreamed of owning a home, that's what's fun. It's never I mean, it's cool to sell like a $1.8 million house. That's really
sure.
cool. And that's
Yeah,
fun too.
yeah,
But the ones that really strike a chord with me are the people that like are just so genuinely grateful
yeah,
that you took the time to help them, and maybe other people were not willing to take the time to help them. and and those are the people that are going to tell everybody about you,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you kind of help them overcome a scenario that they thought was impossible. So yeah, that's the rewarding part. That's what keeps you coming back.
Man, I love it. That just shows your heart. I mean, that's great. Yeah, the $1.8 million deals, they're pretty good, but
It's cool. I mean,
helping the
that's fun
family, yeah,
too, but nothing's cooler than just the life altering change.
sure.
Somebody that never thought they'd own a home, and now they do, and
Yeah.
you can just tell they're so happy. So
Anybody probably could help the $1.8 million buyer, but someone that's buying a $150,000 first time
yeah,
home, maybe not. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have a heart. That's where my heart is.
that's awesome.
So
You've given me some fantastic nuggets that I love. Track and measure, kind of know what you're really good at. Be consistent. Service calls over sales calls. David, what else? Is there anything else that you'd want to add? Maybe something you would give a new agent just starting out that would be great advice for them.
I mean, be coachable.
Good
Like,
one.
listen to the people that have been doing this a long time, or you're going to burn out, and you're not going to really effectively get, and you're not going to make a good impact out the gate. So, um, being coachable, making as many opportunities as you can. I mean, I tell people, have your business card with you at all times. Like, you need to be handing out your business cards, holding as many open houses. I'd do an open house every day if I was a new agent.
Huh,
I know that sounds
that's good.
silly.
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
mean, no, I know it sounds silly, but what does it matter? I mean, it's 11 to 1. You're not going to have a whole lot going on as a new agent, but I mean, you do it. People show up to these things. I do brokers open houses during the week, and sometimes just somebody will just walk. I picked up a really good buyer,
Hmm.
just a Wednesday lunchtime open house that was intended for real estate agents,
Huh,
but somebody just came in. So
huh.
I'm telling, like, there's I think that the hard part is with a new agent is they don't really know what to spend their time doing throughout the week. And that's another thing that I tell new agents is we got to establish like a time blocking schedule.
Yeah.
And even agents that have been doing this a long time, because you need to have some boundaries and be able to dictate your own schedule. You cannot overlook your prospecting time, and whether that's in the mornings. There's a time block for that. There's 2 hours for that. You should be setting your appointments in a block of time.
Yeah.
You should be, if you're social media, maybe take one day out of the week to do all of your posts, and then drip them out over the following week, rather than like, okay, I got to do a post now. Okay, cut out the shifting gear stuff, and keep your lunches open for sphere of influence appointments. Get in front of people. I'd say take 3 or 4 people a week for coffee, and just get to know them. Don't be scared to ask for the business, but you're making your introduction like, hi, I'm so and so, I just got in real estate, I'm holding open houses every day, I am making my calls, I'm reaching out to people on Facebook, I'm handing out business cards everywhere. So yeah, you have to, and in a lot of ways, you have to have a marketing mindset, already in place whenever you're a new agent and you're getting started, because nobody is going to walk up to you and give you business. It's This isn't HGTV.
Huh. That is, thank goodness, brother. That is gold. I mean, that is phenomenal. Hey, David, if someone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way?
Yeah.
Whether they're maybe a client looking to buy or sell, or they're a real estate agent, they're looking maybe to connect more with you. What's the best way?
Well, I mean, they can give me a call. They have 903-574-2888.
Fantastic. You just
But
Google you and you'll find it too.
or they can, we've got great resources on our website, dwelleasttexas.com. We've got, our Facebook page, we've got a YouTube page. So really, any medium that anybody ever wants to reach out, always available to talk. So yeah.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. I tell you what, anyone that's listening, agent or client, David is a fantastic guy to connect with, knows his stuff. I've ran out of room on my page of taking
Oh
notes.
gosh.
All my nuggets, and so this is
All
good.
the nuggets.
This is one. Thank you, David, for being a part of
Yeah.
this. I really appreciate it. And for our listeners, thanks for listening to Agent X podcast. We'll catch you next time as we talk to a top real estate agent in the East Texas market.